Yep. All right. Welcome everyone to the August 3rd, today's date, City of Columbia Board of Zoning Appeals meeting. I'm John Gregory, Chair for the board, and will be serving as chair for today's meeting. At this time, I'd like to introduce other members of the board. I will start to my left, Catherine Finner. To my right, sorry, John Ginyard, Davis Whittle, Sherrard Duval, and Celia McIntosh on the end. Welcome y'all. Also want to introduce staff that assist us. We have Hope. Nope. She's not here today. Erica Hyen, to my right, Deputy Zoning Administrator, and Sky Robinson Barnes, the Land Use Board Coordinator. The board is charged with hearing applications for special exceptions, variances, and administrative appeals. All testimony is recorded for the record, and anyone wishing to speak will need to be sworn in and come to the podium to speak. No testimony can be taken from the floor. So I guess that's the podium that we'll be speaking from today. When you come to the podium, please state your name and speak clearly into the microphone because this meeting is being recorded. Applicants with cases before the board are allotted a presentation time of 10 minutes. And then anybody who's a member of the public is allotted a time of 3 minutes or 5 minutes if you're representing an established body of 3 or more. The applicant then has 5 minutes for a rebuttal, and that's all the time we're taking. So the board reserves the right to amend these limits on a case-by-case basis. Those of you who plan to speak must be sworn. If you are here as an applicant or here to speak in any case, please stand at this time and raise your right hand. All right, do y'all affirm or attest that the testimony you will give today is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, thank y'all. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Hyen.
Okay, the first item on the agenda is to review the consent agenda. The only item there is the approval of the July 6th, 2023 meeting minutes.
It's pretty simple.
I wasn't there, so someone else could make a
Okay,
motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda and the minutes.
Yeah. Nothing on the consent agenda. So, all right, we have a motion. Second, motion and second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, the motion's approved.
Okay, we'll move on to the regular agenda. First case on the regular agenda is the Administrative Appeal 2023-0025, 1730 East Buchanan Drive. It's an administrative appeal to the zoning administrator's decision to deny an administrative adjustment to the minimum lot size standard. At this time, I will just give you an overview of the zoning administrator's decision to deny that administrative adjustment.
No need to speak up.
Okay. So in May of 2023, the zoning administrator received an application for an administrative adjustment for a potential lot subdivision on East Buchanan Drive. The request was to allow one large lot to be subdivided into two separate lots with lot sizes of 13,064 square feet and the other with 14,232 square feet. Property is zoned RSF1, Residential Single Family Large Lot District, which does require a minimum lot size of 15,000 square feet for all newly created lots. Upon review, the zoning administrator determined that the request did not meet the criteria for an administrative adjustment. Specifically, the administrative adjustment was not consistent with the character of development on surrounding land. GIS data was collected for properties within a 900-foot radius of the property due to the majority of those lots being in the same zoning district, RSF1 Large Lot District. Only 6 out of those 130 had lot sizes below the 15,000 square foot required by the zoning districts. And 2 of those lots had previously been zoned RSF2, so they were conforming to that district standards of 8,500 square feet. The zoning administrator determined that the few outlying lots that did not meet the RSF1 requirements for a lot area should not set a standard for newly created lots in the district. And the zoning administrator respectfully requested that the determination be upheld based on the City of Columbia Unified Development Ordinance sections cited above, that the lot subdivision does not meet that criteria for administrative adjustment, and the facts as presented. And that's the 17-3.2 for the 15,000 square foot minimum lot area and the administrative adjustment decision standards, and 17-2.5. Maybe we should shut the door.
Yeah,
That's it for,
okay, that's some background.
yeah.
Would the applicant like to come to the podium to, present their case? Please. Just state your name for the record.
Thank you all for having us. My name is Jordan Craps. This is my wife, Morgan Craps. We own and live at 1730 East Buchanan. And as mentioned, we're here to discuss the denial of our administrative adjustment request to split our lot at 1730 East Buchanan. That is our home. We live there. We're not developers or anything of that sort. We're looking to split the lot so that we can build a home behind our house. If you can turn to the second page, as you are all probably aware, this is the standard for the review today. That the zoning administrator made an error in determining whether the standard was met, and an error in judgment occurred. We believe that an error did occur. In reviewing the denial and preparing for this hearing today, we really do strongly believe that the standard to attain the adjustment was met, and we look forward to talking with you all about that today. So the next slide is the communication we received that was read to you guys a few minutes ago. The zoning administrator relied on section R4, a subsection R4, which determined that the adjustment would not be consistent with the character of the neighborhood. We feel the exact opposite. We actually feel the adjustment would enhance the character of the neighborhood, and we hope to show you guys that today.
So the first thing we'd like to note is that the zoning administrator argued that the few outlying lots that did not meet the size requirement should not set the standard for newly created lots in the district. Setting a new standard for these lots in the district was never our intent with requesting an administrative adjustment. In fact, when you look at the definition of the purpose of an administrative adjustment, the purpose is to approve minor deviations from the standard that was set forth in the ordinance. And so we believe that the administrative adjustment process is to provide relief to people like us who are looking for a deviation from the standards that are existing in the ordinance. If we were looking to set a new standard for the development in the neighborhood, we would look to change the ordinance. Instead, we're trying to use the relief that's given to us through this administrative adjustment process to request a very slight deviation from those standards. Under this logic of setting a new standard with this type of adjustment, no adjustment would ever be approved. The purpose of the adjustment is for deviations. And so we see her logic as being flawed in the way that she applied the knowledge of the administrative adjustment and denied our request for this adjustment. So the next slide is just sort of an outline of some additional areas where we believe that an error occurred in the judgment for this appeal. Our request is compliant with the administrative adjustment allowance, and it's not only highly consistent with the character of the surrounding land and the neighborhood as a whole, but in fact, as Jordan mentioned, we believe that it will actually enhance the character of the neighborhood. The request that we've made is consistent with the allowance that the zoning administrator is allowed to make under the administrative approval process. The zoning administrator has the ability to give a deviation of up to 20% in the lot size area when requesting an administrative approval. Our request is only 12.9% and 5.1% deviation, and so we're well within her ability to create this adjustment for our zoning split.
Yeah, so you turn to this page here.
Page 7.
Page 7. This is just a GIS image of the property as it sits now. Obviously, that blue dot is our house currently, which faces East Buchanan. But the property is bordered on one side by a split lot, a lot similar to our size that's already been split. And on the other 3 sides, it is bordered by a road. So flipping to the next page, that is the proposed plat that we submitted for the split. As you can tell, the new parcels that we are intending to create are going to be very similar in orientation and in size to the property next door. And that new house and the house we're leaving behind will perfectly tie into the existing adjoining lots. And with negligible lot size, that certainly wouldn't be visible to anyone walking down the street. Moving on to the next page, our property is about a block away from some RS2 zoning, which obviously has smaller lot size requirements. And so anyone coming through the neighborhood, the lot split would really be seamless for anyone driving through. There would not be a noticeable difference as you go through the neighborhood.
I think this map that's shown on the screen is actually different than what's shown on the city's GIS. So actually these lots right here, if you go back,
I can try to.
are zoned RS2. Yeah, so these are, you can see that these are much smaller. So this is RS2 zoning starting right here, and this is our house.
That's perfect. And so if you go to the next slide, we like to note that there are other non-conforming lots in the neighborhood. The zoning administrator used a 900-foot radius, which is shown on our slide there. And it seems either intended to or certainly has the effect of missing some other non-conforming lots that are just outside of that radius. There are 5 non-conforming properties on Parkman itself. This street here, these lots here are non-conforming. And also this lot here on East Buchanan is non-conforming, which was created actually a few years ago when this lot here was split into 3 parcels. So we also didn't note in our slide that the property immediately adjacent to ours that's already been split, we think is a hair under the 15,000, but didn't note it just to be on the safe side. Moving on to the next slide in our presentation this year. This is how nearly everyone in the neighborhood sees the lot as it sits now. It appears vacant and has some old utility boxes that we hope and intend to move. And so while we're here to discuss a variance in lot size, we do not think lot size is determinant of character of the neighborhood. The lot is the only corner lot in the neighborhood that's empty. It attracts trash from people driving down the road that we have to pick up on a daily or weekly basis. We think splitting the lot is actually going to improve the character of the neighborhood. It's going to fit in perfectly. And, we'll be replacing this view that you see before you with what we hope to be a nice new home. And so, ultimately, we think that by splitting hairs and denying the adjustment, we're really detracting from the character of the neighborhood, which is, as noted earlier, a family home neighborhood. And we're certainly not enhancing it by denying the adjustment.
The reason why we're trying to split the lot, as we've mentioned previously, is to build a new home for our family. We moved into our house about 6 years ago, prior to COVID, prior to having children. And for the past year or two, we've been looking at larger homes and have had absolutely no luck. This is because right now in Columbia, there are inadequate housing options. We have so many friends and colleagues and people that we know who are in the same boat as us, who are looking at trying to find larger houses, trying to find new houses with more room, and are just not having any luck. There are not enough houses right now in the Columbia market. This has been evidenced through many studies, through conversations with real estate brokers. Many houses are selling before they ever even hit the market. We've run into that time and time again, only to be let down over and over. And so we really hope that this will be a great solution for our family. I'll try to get through what is our last slide without crying here, but I recently accepted a job where I work full-time from home. My husband also works from home. We've got a young daughter and we're hoping to grow our family, and we just don't feel that we can do that in our current house as we sit today. We're hopeful that not only are we able to get a new home through this zoning split, but also provide an opportunity for another family to move into our current home. And so it would solve our issue and hopefully solve an issue for someone else. And so we hope that you'll recognize what we believe is an error in judgment by the zoning administrator, and we hope that you'll consider our request. Thank you.
Thank y'all. All right, good presentation. Now we move on to the public. Is there anyone in the public that wishes to speak on this matter? Okay. Well, actually, before I do that, we should have had questions from the board to you guys. So can we get y'all back up there just in case anyone has questions? Sorry.
I have a question.
All right. Well, we'll start with Catherine then.
Have you spoken to your neighbors, and what is their opinion on this, on your surrounding immediate neighbors?
We've spoken to a few of them. I mean, we think that based on the size house that we would plan to build and in talking with architects and a contractor, that we would certainly enhance the value of the homes around us. So I think that our neighbors will be fully supportive. We've got good relationships with our neighbors.
But you haven't talked to them.
We've talked to a few of them. We haven't talked to all of them.
Okay. How about the ones next door? I'm just, the ones right next door. Are there somebody living there?
So we've talked to this family here, the Day House.
Okay.
We have not talked to, this is Mike Ty's house. We haven't talked to him specifically about splitting the lot. This is a rental home, so people kind of
I
turn
see.
through there
I got you.
on a yearly basis.
Sure. All right. It's a really good presentation, by the way.
Thank you.
It's really important to us to be able to do this, as you could hopefully tell.
Any other questions?
No other questions? Okay.
Go
ahead, Sarah. Yeah.
Did you consider adding on to your current house?
We have. So when we purchased our home, I guess it was in 2017, we actually gutted the house and did a full renovation on it at that time. And so we weren't contemplating, needing an office and needing additional bedrooms. And so in order to actually expand on our home, we'd have to rip out all of the patio that we put in. We'd have to rip out the kitchen, the master closet, the master bedroom, and so some of the most expensive elements of the house that we just renovated, we'd have to basically tear out. So
We have thought about it. It's obviously not our best option.
Which lot is the 12.9 and which one is the 5.1? The new lot or the old lot?
So on the, sorry, I just don't have it in front of me anymore.
I think the new lot would be 12.9.
The new lot will be 14.2, and, I'm sorry, the new lot will be 13, and the old lot will be 14.2.
14 is our house right now.
Wait,
So the 13 would be,
And then
the new
13
one
would
would be
be
the smaller.
12.9.
okay, so what's the deviation from?
That's the percentage
Right,
from
right,
the
so,
20%.
so which one is the 12.9 and which one is the
Yeah,
5.1?
The 12.9 is the 13.
I got
So
you,
it's from
okay.
15.
Morgan, can you
Okay,
stay at the
okay.
podium? Sorry.
Oh, yeah, I'm
I
sorry.
got you, okay, no, that's fine, she was showing me, I appreciated that, I got you, I understand.
There we go.
I understand now.
Yeah, so
The
the
new lot is the one that is actually deviating more,
That would be the larger
correct,
deviation.
Yeah.
the larger deviation, okay, but still only 12.9.
yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty straightforward. But, all right, any other questions for the applicant from us?
I can't tell the property line of the new split from this one, I may be just missing it, but is it straight in line with the one with your property next to it?
No.
So in order to give as much square footage to the new lot,
To the 112 foot?
we did cut it in a little bit. So you can see on the adjoining property, that property line comes in, appears to be about, it doesn't have a yardage there, but
It's okay, I see what you're
Yeah.
saying.
it-
It's not right in line.
it's not right in
Looks like
line.
there's a utility easement that might be interfering with how much house you can build on the rest of it, is that, do I understand that plat
That's on the
correctly?
corner,
Right,
so you'll have to do something with that.
Well,
So-
both
so-
those houses are fenced, and so they've both got, especially Mike Ty has a wooden privacy fence there, and so it would actually, I guess you wouldn't be able to see where that line would
And-
be from his house.
And so that triangular thing you see there, that's actually a remnant of an old property line.
I see, okay,
So I don't know when, it's decades ago at this point, but
I see.
that triangle piece is actually just an old property.
Well, it's a utility pole, so.
I do have one question, like on the new property line, like as far as, have y'all thought about, like fence or vegetation just for a screening and anything like that?
Yes.
Just at the rear, between the new property line.
The in between the two houses?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we would certainly put in a privacy fence in between those two properties.
And probably vegetation.
And then what would be facing the road would just depend on if we can move those utility boxes, whether we need to move those, or if we have to work around them, we'll obviously adjust as need be.
What size house are you looking to put?
Probably, but
We talked to an architect, and he seemed comfortable that we'd be able to build the house we wanted to, probably 4,000 to 4,500.
Okay.
Would the new house face Bannockburn or Parkman, you know?
So when we've been told that once we get this approval, if we get this approval, we would then apply for like a driveway access, and they would kind of tell us. I assume it would be Bannockburn, just because that's how the other house sits, but we would have to work with the city on that.
DOT, yeah. I'm good.
All right, cool. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
All right, now do we have anyone from the public that's here that wishes to speak on this matter? Okay, seeing none, let's, you wanna go into board discussion?
Yes.
Okay. Who wants to lead us off? Celia?
Sure. Sorry, I'll be the bad guy in the room. I'm actually not feeling great about it. It kind of feels like it scrunches the back of what would be their existing house. The parking is sort of tight, and having the large lot, so the RSF1 with the large lot is sort of a unique thing in Columbia. So it's like you're kind of taking that away from, potentially somebody else. What if somebody wanted a pool? What if, it just seems like there's more options. It seems like a shame to take away this size of a property and to sort of irreparably change what you could do there by taking it and making two smaller ones that are much more constrained is kind of what I'm struggling with. So I don't know.
See, now I'm in other direction, because I'm like, the two lots next door are small, are
Have small houses.
smaller and have smaller houses. The smaller house thing is the one concern I would have, but I think they're smaller. I think that they're well within the deviation, the 20% deviation. That was, I think, the most compelling story to me, is that, I don't know that there was exactly an error in judgment exactly, but I think that certainly it was within Hope's purview to permit this. And I think that from a city perspective, it's really a good idea I'd rather see them living here than moving out to, the Summit or some place way far out that's gonna just add commuting time and all like that. I mean, I think that, given they're right next door to a pair of small lots, it's a little bit harder to do that. And plus, when you open up the circle and you see that there are plenty of other smaller lots in the area, it's harder to say that they shouldn't be able to do this, to me.
I guess for me, it was like, it's almost, if the lot next to them wasn't split, I would feel better about it, because you'd say, well, it's this unique condition, it's on the end, it's sort of the corner, instead of, well, now we have these 4 lots, and
But it looks
like
like
if everybody maxes out their footprint, it starts to,
except that the house, the right behind them is basically a vacant lot. It looks like a vacant lot because of where the house is situated on East Buchanan, the existing house on East Buchanan, and then there's like this big giant backyard that the houses next door don't have.
I know, but what Celia's kind of saying is, if the housing market were different and they could go find the house they want and move, and then somebody bought that because they saw this beautiful, huge lot where they could put in a pool,
Right.
then that is one of the gorgeous things, or the benefits of the RSF one.
I can build a cool
But-
garage and a pool and
Right.
like, it's
That's
a
exactly.
unique property,
At
and
the same
that's,
time, I
the
do
whole point.
agree that, like, at first I thought 12.5 or 12.9% seemed like a lot, but then I realized the allowable deviation is 20, and they're not even within
Yeah.
almost half of that, so. Is that clarifying?
Davis, what do you think, man?
I mean, it would be a great lot as it sits now, but I don't know that there's a huge market of people that are gonna be coming in and potentially say, oh, that's a great lot, let's just raise everything and start from the ground up. I just don't, if you did that in that neighborhood, it would kind of stand out like a sore thumb.
That's true.
The character of the neighborhood is almost lots that size,
Splitting it.
almost all.
Yeah.
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 well, but I think that's what you're gonna see. I mean, that's what like you're seeing more of, is like the add-on, the house next to it becomes more.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm okay being the odd man out.
Yeah, all the infill houses are always taller. But I think that infill is a good thing from a planning perspective.
It's true.
It certainly would improve the corner of Bannockburn and Parkman, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
All right, well, did you mention anything on it specifically?
I don't really have a lot to add that hadn't already been said. I think the only thing I could probably add is I just don't see enough to not uphold what the zoning administrator has already. I just don't see enough to turn it over. That's just my opinion.
So what do you mean by that? Like to
I mean,
approve what they're trying to do? To
right,
approve-
I mean,
To
ultimately.
approve the administrative appeal, or you don't see
Say
enough?
that-
Ultimately, basically what I saw right here, yeah, right. What I see right here in the comments is, one, is the RSF1 requirements. Those RSF1 requirements, I think like Celia already said, are there because of all of the lots have that RS1 size in that area. So that's part of that's part of that particular neighborhood's appeal, is that particular lot size. Two, in the comments, it specifically states that some of the lots that aren't those lots were given we're kind of given a pass because of it happened before these were assigned, which is what was here in the staff notes.
Mhm.
So I don't even know if that's
Yeah,
if that even matters, right? And then, I mean, I understand the housing thing and all of that, but I don't know what that has to do with the zoning administrator's position. You know what I mean? It's, this is more of a, this isn't so much a personal thing. This is more about the rules applied to this neighborhood with this. What you're proposing doesn't say that the rules are wrong. It just says, hey, we're having trouble buying a house. We want to put a house here. Can we adjust the rule for us? It doesn't necessarily say, it's not saying enough to me to say these staff comments are wrong. It's just saying these staff comments are right, but we also want to do this. You know,
But what's the point of an administrative appeal? I mean, I guess there's a process which allows for an administrative adjustment allowance. And it's clearly well within that allowance of 20%. I mean, so I think that they came with what I think is a fairly reasonable request. I mean, they're not looking for 20%.
yeah.
I mean, some of the other stuff, I mean, whether you can buy a house or not, I mean, that's neither here nor there, relevant to our decision. But I do think that there exists an administrative appeal, and it was well within Hope's discretion to grant that administrative appeal, but she did not.
Yeah. I think it's a small enough
Yes,
deviation to where it's definitely reasonable.
yeah, I think so too.
What were you gonna say, John?
No, I agree with that. I agree with what Sherrod's saying, like taking the other stuff out of it and looking at it on a very specific requirement of the neighborhood. I still believe that it's actually within I think it's okay, you know, because especially that there's 3 streets on that one property. You know, if it was one street all facing or one piece of
Yeah.
property all facing East Buchanan, that's like even more, to me, like less likely to subdivide it. But the fact that there's 3 streets and now we're gonna have
2 frontages.
2 streets on 2 different lots, like looking at it just from a perspective. And if you increase this 900-foot radius to 1,200-foot radius, you got even more consideration of smaller lots. I think that there is the opportunity to
Yeah.
consider allowing the subdivision.
Agreed.
Make a motion?
Yeah, yeah.
I move that we approve the appeal of the administrative denial. Is that
Yeah.
okay? And permit the variance, or whatever, I guess it's just I move that we, permit the, what am I trying to do here?
Move that you approve the administrative appeal.
I move that we approve the administrative appeal for the reasons that we specified.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
All right, so did it 5-1? All right, thank you. Yeah. All right, thank y'all. Next case,
Thank you for working with the architect.
yeah. I do have some agenda with me, so I don't have the case number.
Oh, it's,
All right, so next case is variance request 2023-26.
does it have the case number on it? I think it does.
Yeah, that's it, that's 0026. Would the applicant please come to the podium and state your name and?
We're all in the neighborhood.
Y'all are?
There's no applicant?
The applicant's not
That's
here?
weird.
John Blackman?
Is he possibly up on the 3rd floor? Is there any chance that he's up there?
That'd be kind of odd if the applicant.
Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I don't know if we can.
What's the
Right?
time limit on that?
John, we can't do that without the applicant,
We
right?
can defer.
We have
Yeah,
to
we'll
defer.
defer.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Defer, could we move that we be heard and see if that gives you sufficient information to roll?
I don't think we can.
Well, let's just give it a minute. This is a new one.
You don't have any contact information for John Blackman? Is there something on the, I don't have I can't see the whole thing that his number should be in there, because he.
You would have to, somebody.
It's not actually John Bryce Carter, Realtor.
But we can't, we can't call and say, hey. He would have to, yeah.
No, I'm just wondering if he happens, if we have any idea of what's going on. I mean, it's just odd. I don't really want to hear it partially. I mean, that's just
He
weird.
has to present his case,
Yeah,
because we don't know what.
The question is, do we default or do we defer?
should defer it.
I think we defer.
I guess,
Krista, do
did
we-
Sky go upstairs or something?
Yeah, Scott went to go check, so we can just wait till she gets back.
I mean, I would certainly believe we could make a decision without an applicant.
Well, I don't think we need to hear
And
from
then we don't
them.
need personally defer to anything.
Right.
I think we would just.
Well, I think we got two choices. I mean, we either defer or deny because he failure to prosecute, basically.
We'll see what staff recommends.
Adjourn.
So they can only respond to his case that he presented, so they can.
You looking at our
Yeah, we
No,
need,
I'm actually reading emails.
We either need to hear
once
his
he
case.
withdraws it.
We either need to hear his case or just say, sorry, you failed to prosecute. If you have an appeal to anything and you don't show up, you lose. I mean, that's the easy answer. I kind
Yeah.
of hate it because it seems
And
like a
that's-
reasonable,
I mean, Krista, what's your viewpoint on that?
what do we do?
Applicant not showing up to an appeal.
just in case, you know, he's in a ditch somewhere.
Right,
Okay.
that sounds right.
She's in the hallway, it looks like she's.
This is not free.
I mean, like you said, if he's in a ditch somewhere, you don't, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty odd.
Yes.
Especially since it's like someone you would feel like is in the profession. It's not just like a random homeowner that doesn't understand the process.
Somebody's done this before. and that's- Yeah, I just want the facts.
Where are these mosquitoes gonna be?
What is it already there? There's already offices. That's what I was. Well, I mean, that was kind of. That's what I was kind of. Alright, hey, let's join back in here. Alright, so the applicant's not here.
And, I'd like for someone to make a motion to defer it to next month, if someone's willing to do that.
Yeah. We defer it to next month.
Okay, motion and a second.
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All right. Thank y'all for coming, yeah.
That's the last case on the agenda.
They are concerned.
All right, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
All right, so moved. Is that it? Second? All right, so moved. I just say so moved at the end there.
So moved.
Yeah,
Oh, can you sign my orders?
yes.
So we don't have to go through that again.
See you all.
Do you want to hang on to these or we've already got them?